Hey gang, AV here, and welcome to my review of the Boss Fight Studios Vitruvian Hacks Series 2 Lord Vehemous, the Dragon Cult War Priest. Here he is in the packaging. As you can see, he is a carded figure with collector-friendly packaging. Basically, you peel these flaps open to remove the card, and then the figure is easily accessible. So he is not a blister card figure. He can be removed, he can be displayed, played with, whatever, and then put back as though he were never removed from the card in the first place. As I've said numerous times already, I have mixed feelings about that. So basically, you want to make sure you want to have a look inside the bubble before you purchase the figure on the aftermarket as best you can, just to make sure that as many of the accessories are intact as you can see. It's not a perfect science, but just do the best you can. If it looks like something's missing, ask questions, whatever. So anyway, here he is in the packaging. Awesome artwork as usual for these carded figures. I really do enjoy the artwork on these. There's his name, there's his occupation. It is an adult collectible, so this channel is not for children, neither is this toy. You've been warned. HACS stands for Highly Articulated Character Kit System, in case you were curious. There's the figure inside the bubble. And on the back of the card, you can see that he has a file card, which, as you can tell, is pretty much the same size as the vintage G.I. Joe file card that we all grew up with and love. I do love this about these figures, that they come with the file card. It helps flesh out the characters, give a detailed backstory. It really gives the characters personality when they're on your shelf. If you'd like to read the file card, feel free to pause the video and do so now. Once again, big fan of those. I can't stress that enough. Here are some other figures available. I believe this was Wave 2 and Wave 3 of Series 2. I've reviewed nearly all of these figures already. If I haven't reviewed it yet, at least if it was from Series 2, I probably don't have it yet. This is the last figure from Series 2 that I have to review, and then I'm going back to Series 1, and then hopefully by the time those are done airing, I will have my Kickstarter rewards and the pre-orders that I had made, so I can review those figures as well. It's a long trip across the ocean when you go by boat, and it's just taken a lot longer than a lot of us have expected. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope to have brand new content soon, but I just don't have it yet. Anyway, there is a QR code on the back of this card. Feel free to use that if you wish. It should take you directly to the Boss Fight Studio app, where you can purchase this figure and many others. And without further ado, let's open them up. And with the card now out of the way, that you can see the background, let me apologize for the inappropriate background of my studio setting here. As it turns out, before making this video, I had already changed my studio around for the next set of figures I plan on reviewing. So it's not really a medieval setting. I apologize for that, but hey, what can you do? All right, so let's angle the camera down a little bit. Sorry, my camera's acting up. I'm trying to make sure that everything stays in frame here. Okay, so as usual, we're going to have a look at the accessories first. Here is his accessory bag. We're going to cut this open because I don't feel like wasting time with tape this video. And we're going to dump out the contents right there. Move that off to the side. All right, right off the bat, he has a display base. which, as you can see, has 2-foot pegs. It says Boss Fight Studios. It's in the shape of the Boss Fight Studio logo, and it works very well to keep the figure upright. I've mentioned this numerous times already, and these are very good to have for this figure and many others. He comes with a fur cape, which is, I believe, a slightly different color than the one that comes with the orcs, which you can drape across his back. Very cool. He comes with an extra set of hands, which I will address once I get the figure out of the tray. Well, let's move them off to the side here, just so I don't lose them. He comes with a spell book, and like all the other magic users I've reviewed so far, this spell book is different from the others. It's a different color. This is like a very dark midnight blue, or even a purple, with dark, dingy pages and everything. Same mold though, but very cool. Very cool. I'm a huge fan of these. Next up, we have his sword and scabbard. There we are. Oh, before I forget, it does have a nub here so that you can peg this to his belt, which I'll demonstrate once I get the figure out. Here is his sword, very nicely detailed. 3 colors on it. It's got like the same color of blue for the handle, sword hilt, and guard. Even the blade has a slight blue tint to it. Very nice. It fits in the scabbard very snugly. It's not going to fall out. Scabbard has that same purple and brown look to it with gold highlights. Comes out of there. And it also has a peg so it can peg onto his belt. Next up, we have his dagger and its sheath, which has some slightly different detailing on it. Also has a peg so you can put it onto his belt. The dagger has the similar colors to match the sword, and similar design too, just on a smaller scale. It fits in the scabbard nice and tight, doesn't fall out. Takes a little effort to actually get undone, actually. I don't know if you hear that, but it's got a nice seal to that. Now he's got like this staff mace, which is a unique weapon to him. And I will say this is not my first version of this character. And of all the accessories I have, believe it or not, this proved to be the most fragile, because without any effort whatsoever, this spike on the end just cracked off. So if you have to be careful with some of the items here. Even though they're mostly sturdy, this is the only boss fight one I think I had that actually broke on me accidentally. And so just watch out for that. That spike is not held on there very securely. It's like just a very thin piece of plastic which is connecting it to the rest of the shaft here. But anyway, it's a cool accessory. Same spike ball that we're used to seeing on other things. Same staff. You probably can unplug this too. Yep. There it comes. Same staff that other characters come with. So the head of the staff is removable. Very cool. And onto this, he has his last weapon, which is a ball and chain. I always get this and this mixed up, like as far as maces go. One is called a mace, the other is called a morning star, I think. I always get them confused. But anyway, This is on a nice chain. I believe it's just a plastic chain, although I could be wrong. Let's see if it's magnetic. Hold on a sec. Oh. Nope, I stand corrected. I had a magnet off camera. Let me show you. That is metal. As you can see, that is a metal chain. Very cool. Very cool. And it's a very cool accessory too. Also unique to this character, at least so far in the series. He has his helmet, which is pretty unique. I think this may have came with the warrior skeleton. That was a con exclusive or Halloween exclusive or whatever. With a different paint scheme maybe. But otherwise, this helmet isn't really readily available. And it does have paint apps too, as you can see. Sorry, gang. My camera keeps acting up. I hope all this is in focus for you. Let's see. He has these two. Pieces of fur with plugs, and these plug onto his shoulders, just like shoulder armor would. I'll demonstrate that now. There you are. And in order to hang his fur cape, sorry, off camera, you'll put those holes through those pegs, the pegs through the holes, I mean, and it would drape down on his back. I can demonstrate that too. Come on. It's been in the packet for a little while, so it's a little stuck in its shape. Doesn't want to be cooperative. All right, pretty good. So there you go. It's hanging off his back, and this will flatten out too with a little hair dryer effort, but looks pretty cool. I like the look of that. And he also comes with a second likeness. And in order to really appreciate the skull that he comes with, you really have to have a good look at his face. As you can see, he's got that scar over his left eye. And this particular skull also has the same scar over his left eye, which is very cool. This is clearly him, clearly the same character, just with or without flesh. This is not the same sculpt as the, or actually it may be the same sculpt, just with a different paint pattern as the Knight of Asperity, but it's not the same exact skull. Alright, let's have a look at the rest of the character. He's got a very nicely shaped chest plate and torso, which is different than the other knights in the line. Same arms and same wrist armor pieces as well, same hands. He's got a unique, at least so far, other characters have already been announced with the same belt. And I guess you'd say, it's not a skirt, whatever. You know what I mean. I forget what this is called. But other characters have been seen with this, we just haven't gotten our hands on them yet. They haven't been released. He has no thigh armor and no shin armor either. He just has plain boots on. But still, very, very cool character. Let's see him with his helmet. Very good design on that. As you can see, his eyes are visible through the helmet. His ears have a spot to go. Very well designed. I do like that. And just to show you, he does have ports on his belt here where you can hang his accessories from. This is pretty much this is a good one for his sword actually, but just to demonstrate it, we'll see if I can get his book in there. Of course, it doesn't want to cooperate. Why? Because I'm on camera, that's why. I do find it easier when you can get have something to push off of. So taking it off of the figure itself, applying these things. Man, that does not want to go in there. All right, let's do this one here, and then I'll do the sword on that side, because that's where I like to put the sword anyway, because my guys are usually right-handed. There we go. Alright, that went in there good. They are interchangeable. I was just having a tough time. With a little bit more patience, though, I would have got it, and you would have too. So, get that on there. There we go. It's back together. There he is equipped. Unfortunately, he only has the 2 ports, so you can't actually put his dagger on as well. The only exception is if you actually used his back hole here for his backpack for maybe his sword scabbard or whatever. I know some people do that, but it doesn't really fit in there as snugly as I would like. Otherwise, he is going to have an accessory off to the side. Let's see how he looks with the skull, which is typically the way I like to display him. Very cool, very cool. Now, as I mentioned before, this is not the only version of this character I have. I actually bought a couple of these, mostly for the parts, so that I could customize, because like I had mentioned earlier, at least at this point, he is the only one that comes with that particular chest piece and that skirt, and even like these fur bits on the top. So he is worth army building just for the parts if you want to customize. All right, so without further ado, let's do a size comparison. Here he is next to a vintage G.I. Joe, if he will stand up for me. As you can see, he's quite a bit taller than him. Here he is with a modern G.I. Joe, which is the industry standard now for 1/18th, because he's about 4 inches tall, and so is Vehemous there. And before I forget, let's go over his articulation. Now, these things should not get in the way of his articulation, so his arms can still go up and around. You do want to be careful, because you will pop this off if you don't, but it won't stop the arm, really. Arms go out. A little stiff on mine, but they go up about that high, which is pretty decent. His elbow guards here will prevent him from doing a full 360 with his elbow. Otherwise, it's just on a standard peg, and it will swivel, but it does so in an arc. He also bends a full 90 degrees with it. His hands do a full 360. They bend up and down. The extra set of hands that he comes with, if you were to just unplug this and plug in the other one, these bend in and out. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really do like the fact that they come with an extra set of hands just to give you that option for displaying your figures. His torso is on a ball joint, so he gets a really good range of motion there. Head is also very maneuverable, although doing a full 360 with these things on is kind of cumbersome. You can also look down very far, up, whoops, ripped his head off. Up, not really, without ripping his head off. And man, I am all over the place and I apologize for that. I'm kind of distracted. Had a long day. Anyway, his legs go out about that far. They can go up about that far without really being hindered by his thing at all. You just gotta move it a little bit out of the way. His knees are double jointed, so he can get his heel back a good way. His ankles are on pegs, so they do a full 360. He can bend his heel back about that far and his toe forward about not really that much. Anyhow, he's got decent articulation, especially for an armored figure. I've said that before about the other knights in this line, and I mean it. I mean, they really maximized his look without really hindering his articulation all that much. Because even though he doesn't have as good articulation as other figures in the line, he still has excellent articulation compared to other figures of this size, you have to admit. So, would I recommend this figure? Absolutely. As I've said a couple times already, I've got a few of them. I keep one just for the character itself, and I've used the other ones just for the parts. He is an excellent figure to have. I do highly recommend him, and I do recommend that you pick him up. This has been AV. If you like this channel, or if you like this video, check out my channel. If you like what you see there, then please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.